what's going on? It's your favorite trans girl here on YouTube, Miley Carterr. So today's video is going to be a new introduction to my YouTube channel. If you guys may know, about a year and a half ago, I started Keeping It Real, the podcast, and that was basically expressing when I was going through certain situations around that time. And I really wanted to bring back the podcast, which I am. But I really wanted to bring a couch version or video version to life, and this is it. And I am happy to bring one of my house members from Marciano. As you guys know, I am in ballroom, so I decided to bring one of my house members as one of my first guests here on the new segment, Keeping It Real, the Couch series. And so, this is Skylar. Just get yourself.
Hey y'all already know, it's the official Skylar. I'm just excited, to see, what this series is gonna give, and I'm, honored to be one of the first guests on, the revamp of Keeping It Real.
I feel like, I've watched like a lot of series and like, the Red Table Talk and stuff like that, and I really want my couch series to be completely transparent and comfortable.
Right.
Bitch, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry. Of course we have our drinks, honey, bitch. I can't do anything without a drink this thing. If my eyes start getting a little low, bitch, if my eyes start getting a little low, then bitch, I'm feeling it, this thing. But yes, I'm really excited that you are here. Also, if you guys don't know, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I am starting my foundation, the Miley Carterr Foundation. And our message and our mission is to giving back into the Black trans community. I feel like for years, I have inspired and motivated a whole lot of people. But I personally feel like, purpose on this earth is to really give back. And if you know me, I will give my all, or give, anybody the clothes off my back if they really need. I am starting, and let me just tell y'all, some of the things that are coming within my foundation is about to be, very, very, why this bitch didn't put that phone on fucking,
oh my god.
That I'm not gonna take the things that are coming within the foundation of what the services we're gonna be offering, but it is about to be very, very impactful. Of course, we're starting here in Atlanta, Georgia, because I live in Atlanta, Georgia. But my goal is to reach every state in the United States, and if I can, across seas as well. So I'm definitely excited about that. Let's really dive deep into you. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 21. I'll be 22 December 14th. I'm a Sag.
Sagittarius.
Of course. But when you have a certain what they call it, like a certain platform, that I feel like platform, and they don't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like you being able to try to reach as many trans girls or what, even just the supporters of trans girls, I think that's really good, and that's something that I would definitely support.
We talk about transition. A lot of people, when it comes to transition, a lot of people always jump into oh, well, girl, what surgery are you gonna get? Everybody always asks that. Well, what surgery are you gonna get? And it's just for me, when I first started transitioning, that was my problem. And I'm being completely transparent. Even when I told my mom that I wanted to transition many, many, many years ago, girl, I promise you, I really wish I had my old phone that I had back then. I literally wrote her an essay about, the surgeries I wanted and how I wanted to look and why I wanted to be,
right,
who I am. Good, start to, addressing the situation at hand, but I personally feel like I should have never threw surgeries in. I should have just said, I should have stuck to it's who I am and that's it,
right.
Did you have to come out twice, or did you only come out once, or?
She came out twice. It's so, I kind of come out 3 times actually, if you really think about it, because my mom and they tell me all the time when I was 6 or 7 years old, they asked me mind you, no tea, no shade, at that time I was a little boy, you know what I mean? And they said, hey, you know, do you got a girlfriend at school? And I'm like, literally, I was like 6 or 7. I said, no, I like boys. And I'm like, and honestly, I don't remember it, but they tell me like all the time. Like, I've heard it so many times. I'm like, okay. But you know, when you're that age, I think they kind of just brush it off and don't really pay attention to it like that. I think I was about 15, going on 16, when I finally came out to play as being gay. And then, I mean, with that, it was kind of like mixed reactions from it. Some people was kind of like already, like, they already knew that they didn't want me to go ahead and do it, like say it. My mom is a lesbian, first of all. Let's start there. My mom is lesbian. And
so she supports you like
she supports me 100% when I was gay. Right? So, you know, it was no problem. It was kind of like, whatever. It wasn't until I told her that I wanted to transition, and she kind of was like, she was so supportive, but with so much of the violence and the, you know, the negative stuff that comes with the transition, she was like really worried. So she was kind of like trying to talk me out of it because of that. But when she realized, like, you know, I had to tell her, like, the more that I'm, you know, I have fear to be me, or the more that I, you know, back up away from that because of the negativity, the less I like, the less just keep me from being happy. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I think, you know, like, that's the very first problem. Parents know. So even you dialing back to when you was like, you know, when you was 6 or 7,
right.
It's like, you know that there's something different from me than your other children.
Exactly.
Is you the only child?
No, my mom has 4 children.
So that was my mom. And, you know, for me, I've always been this. This has always been me. So, you know, I too had to come out twice. But for me, it was kind of like I was so rebellious. And I was having this conversation with my cousin, you know, I think last night, right before that. I was so rebellious as a child because my mother was into the church. You know, she's definitely a religious person, but she wasn't deeply into the church, but she also cared about whatever everybody else thought.
Right.
And, you know, later on down the line, she told me, you know, we're so scared of, you know, what may happen to me. Because, you know, you have very evil people out here in the world. And it's like as times progress, it's like it's getting worse. Me being like on the forefront and having a platform and being so vivid and loud about me being, you know, trans, right. That can even be such more of a scarier thing. And that's why I personally feel like a lot of parents don't understand that if your child is different, you already know. So it's very important for you to not express those toxic traits or thoughts onto your child, because what parents don't understand is that what you say to your child is everything. I promise you, I could not fully transition without the consent of my mother. Like, I was transitioning, but I didn't thoroughly go through with it or be happy with it without my mother saying, you know, I support you.
I definitely agree with that. Like, my mom, I know she supported me, and I know she was, you know, she wasn't like, don't do it. She just didn't want me to be in harm's way. She never wanted me to have to deal with some of the things that I've seen on the news. I'm from Detroit, you know what I mean? So it's just like, already being a gay boy, it was hard enough, you know? Yeah. And now you're trying to transition to, it's a whole other ball game. So it's just, you know, and I get it, you know what I mean? Like, you worry about your children and you're supposed to.
Even if you're just coming out as gay, we often have to give ourselves like a reality check. Like, okay, bitch, you know, like, if you was a parent, how would you may feel? Exactly. You know, because especially with, you know, like a decade has passed and me trying to tell my mom to call me this or call me that, or just means this or that. It's going to be like a process, but, you know, for me to get her to understand that I was so serious about it, you know, I had to take certain steps, which I always tell people that I do not recommend everybody to take. I do appreciate that, you know, my mother, after a while, she became very understanding of, you know, who I am. Right. And, you know, I will forever love my mother, you know, for that. I just, you know, I always say I just wish I had the support and love that she gives me now. I wish I had that back then, because me and my mother was, you know, was always best friends. But certain things and transactions and, you know, situations in my life that I'm not afraid to talk about that happened to me, I feel like it really happened to me because I did not have that support. I did not have that love. Like, you know, I talked about almost being raped. You know, when I first moved here to Atlanta, I talked about me first moving here and how I was homeless for literally almost a year and a half, and I did not tell anybody. You know, I was still doing my social media stuff, and I was literally homeless as hell, living in hotels. I was living off Tar, you know, Boulevard.
Yeah.
Living, you know, in hotels and stuff like that, and I was still trying to fight for me to be me. And also fight for my dreams, and also fight for something that I want, which is this. You know, I had to take accountability as well for certain situations that happened in my life. But, you know, I just feel like, you know, people don't really realize, like, us Black trans girls, we really go through a lot.
It's one thing to, like, not be a trans girl and you see, like, you may see something on the news or, you know, but it don't really hit you like that because you're not part of that community. But when you're part of that and you see one of your sisters getting killed or being attacked, like the situation with Tamia and and it's just like, it's something that you won't really understand unless you're a part of that community, you know what I mean?
And you know, I always talk about all the time how within like the LGBTQIA plus community, like a lot of people see us trans girls as like the bottom,
right?
You know, as
the whole community.
And you know, I have filmed for the show in Philadelphia recently, and you know, somebody has said they feel as if they stacked the letters the way they did in the order of like
hierarchy.
Yeah, it was just so crazy to me because I never thought about it that way.
Me either. Now that you just said that, I'm literally like in my head like.